Well, another regular season for the NFL has ended, and just as a heads up in this video, because it's the last week of the season and there are a lot of teams who were playing for nothing in games that really had no playoff implications, I just decided to skip to the beginning of the fourth quarter where the heart of the battle was, just to save all of us some time. Some of you might not like it, some of you might appreciate it. Either way, it's my video, and I decide what happens. So without further ado, let's get to those Week 18 NFL games, shall we? Baltimore versus Cleveland. Bailey Zapp, disgracing Tim Couch's number 2, throws a pick 6, and here's Poe from last year sitting on the couch after tearing his ACL. That's not a joke. Lamar Jackson, who I believe deserves to win MVP. I know all the Josh Allen fans and Joe Burrow fans just crap their diapers, but I believe he deserves to win MVP. Didn't have his best game of the season in the season finale, but it was still good enough to win against a crappy Browns team. Again, pretty decisively. When you're going up against Bailey Zappi, I mean, Bailey Crappy, am I right? This game was never close. No offense to Aaron Rodgers and his family. And the Ravens won comfortably by 25 points to get the number 3 seed in the playoffs. Now, for Lamar, comes the hard part. The video continues right after this short break. Before I begin, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, DraftKings Sportsbook. Hey football fans, there's only a few short weeks left in the season, and we've got some exciting wildcard games to look forward to now. Get in on the action right now with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Do not let this slip away. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using code BARRY. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code BARRY and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code BARRY only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Philadelphia versus New Jersey. In a game that meant nothing, the Eagles had a 14-point lead to start the fourth before the Giants ripped off 10 straight points to make it somewhat competitive, but an Eagles field goal to make it a 7-point game with 48 seconds left led to a Drew Lock interception, which sealed the loss for the Giants, and another 14-win season and the 2 seed for the Philadelphia Eagles. Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. Oh god, Joe Burrow fires a bullet to Jamar Chase, the Triple Crown winner. Isn't Joe Burrow just a cutie? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so the Steelers basically almost pulled another Steelers, which is to say they did nothing almost all game and still nearly won. And honestly, if it wasn't for George Pickens shaving points all game, they might have actually won this because they only were down by 2 late in the fourth quarter. And even on their final play, Pat Freiermuth dropped a great pass from Russell Wilson. And unfortunately for all of us, the Steelers are in the playoffs, and it's a national tragedy that the Bengals didn't make the playoffs. They ended up not making it because Denver won. So yeah, tough shit, I guess. Maybe you shouldn't lose to the Patriots at home on opening day then. New England versus Buffalo. A 1-point game at the start of the fourth quarter. The Patriots ended up squeaking out a 7-point win over Buffalo's backups in a game that saw the end of the 1-year Gerard Mayo era in Foxborough as he was fired after the game. My next bet for next head coach of the Patriots, North Carolina head coach Bill Belichick. Chicago versus Green Bay. Chicago got a massive punt return touchdown early on after they deked the fuck out of Green Bay's special teams. That's what I like to see. Anyway, the Packers then gave up another touchdown to make it 14-3. Jordan Love went to the bench. Malik Willis came in. Josh Jacobs got the ball into the end zone. It was a 14-13 game in the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams made a couple nice throws, including this amazing deep throw, which resulted in a touchdown to put the Bears up by 8. But Malik Willis kept firing, getting the Packers back in the end zone, but he failed on a 2-point conversion. However, the Packers would take a 1-point lead with under a minute left on a 55-yard field goal, but Caleb Williams finally, for the love of God, had a great game-winning drive to set up the game-winning 51-yard field goal as time expired to push the Bears into the playoffs. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, no. Never mind. They're not making the playoffs. But the Packers are, and the Packers are going to be the Eagles' first victims. Indianapolis versus Jacksonville. In a game that meant absolutely nothing, the Jaguars tied the game at 20 midway through the fourth before the Colts kicked a field goal to make it 23-20. The Jaguars responded with a game-tying field goal to send the game into overtime. In overtime, the Colts kicked a field goal to go up by 3, and then their defense got a stop against the legendary Mac Jones to squeeze out a win to secure an amazing 8-9 season. What a phenomenal season. I mean, my goodness. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. New Orleans had a 10-point lead in the first 2.5 quarters before Baker Mayfield realized, hey, you know what? If Tom Brady can play well here, I can too. Fast forward into the fourth quarter, the Saints were up by 6. Baker Mayfield was done playing around. He threw a nice pass downfield, which led to a touchdown pass to give the Buccaneers a lead, and the Buccaneers got the ball back, and they got another touchdown touchdown on a flip from Baker Mayfield to Bucky Irving to make it an 8-point game, and then they forced a turnover on downs to win the NFC South once again with a 10-7 record, and Mike Evans even got his 1,000 yards for the 11th straight season. Congratulations to the Bucs for continuing to prove that Tom Brady was an overrated system quarterback, and nobody gives a fuck about the stupid pandemic ring that he won in 2020. Carolina versus Atlanta. Bryce Young kicked things off with a touchdown run. Michael Penix also played well with a touchdown run of his own to make it 10-10, but then the Panthers and really both offenses just could not be stopped all day. But then again, this is the Falcons we're talking about. The Falcons defense has never been good, really, since I've been old enough to remember everything. And this was just a touchdown after touchdown. Each team answered the other. This secured Bryce Young's spot as the starting quarterback for the Panthers in 2025, whereas Michael Penix, he didn't do anything to show that he was the wrong choice in his 3 starts, which I guess is good if you're the Falcons, but still, I mean, I don't know. It seems like they could have waited 3 more games and just gone with Penix next season, but hey, they're going to get out of Kirk Cousins' contract. But anyway, the game went into overtime with the score tied at 38-38, and then Bryce Young led a game-winning drive. It was a touchdown run to improve the Panthers' record to 5-12 and officially knock the Falcons out of the playoffs for the 7th straight season. Houston versus Tennessee. Nobody walks into Will Levis's house and causes him to go 3-14 in the season. Well, actually, they do, as is evidenced by this game where the Texans had a 23-6 lead in the fourth quarter before Levis padded his stats with the most clutch touchdown in NFL history to make it 23-14. Look at that, disrespecting the flag by kneeling. God, I'm gonna throw up. Denver versus Kansas City. This is the longest review I've ever done. Denver was up 31-0 versus Kansas City's backups. They made it 38-0 before Sean Payton did his patented lesbian running dance to get the Broncos into the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Chargers versus Raiders. The Chargers are already in the playoffs and the Raiders are far out of the playoffs, so I skipped most of the game. This was never even close, except maybe for a second in the fourth quarter. Justin Herbert had a great day, at one point expanding the Chargers' lead to 21 points before the Raiders scored arguably the most clutch touchdown ever besides Will Levis's aforementioned touchdown in the previous game on a throw to Brock Bowers, which made the final score 34-20. Go get that first playoff win, Herbert. Jets versus Miami. A look at Aaron Rodgers' 500th career touchdown pass. It's actually pretty crazy for a guy who sat his first 3 seasons behind Brett Favre. Will this be Aaron Rodgers' last game? Maybe. I have a feeling because he had finally 500 touchdown passes. He threw for 4 touchdowns in this game, which was a season high. And I think much like Favre, he will be one and done with the Jets, and people would like to forget that it ever happened. But still, if this is the end for Aaron Rodgers, he might be a bit of a loon, but he's had an unbelievable hell of a career. Top 5 quarterback of all time, in my opinion. But he had the ability to be the GOAT. Seattle versus the Rams. This game meant a lot to me because it saw the return of my beautiful hero, Jimmy Garoppolo. Seattle even got flagged for touching Garoppolo's handsome face, and Jimmy had probably the best game any quarterback's had all season. It's not his fault that his defense sucked and the Rams lost, okay? In fact, ever since Jimmy put his foot down against racism a couple years ago, it seems like the league has been out to blackball him and stop him from having success. And once again, his teammates are so jealous of his handsomeness, they gave up a touchdown late in the game, and they even dropped what probably would have been a first down conversion to end the game. So yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo lost, but he's still a winner in my heart, so you better stop making fun of him right now, or else I'll find you. Arizona versus San Francisco. Fast forward to the fourth quarter, 26-24. It's a close game before it wasn't. As Josh Dobbs, remember the pastronaut? Yeah, more like the astronaut. Couldn't do anything in the fourth quarter, while the Cardinals hung up 47 big ones on the 49ers in what goes down as one of the most disappointing seasons in recent memory for a team that was supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. Never forget. Not every franchise can be a consistent winner like the Philadelphia Eagles. Washington versus Dallas. Trey Lance, aka the Loch Ness Monster, actually started this game and saw the field, while former Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Mariota played for Washington and gave them a 16-12 lead before Trey Lance led a go-ahead drive, which resulted in a touchdown run. And it seemed as though the Cowboys were going to squeak out a win to finish 8-9, but oh no, my friends, with under 2 seconds left, Mariota threw an unbelievably clutch touchdown to Terry McLaurin to get the Commanders to 12 regular season wins for the first time since 1991. Do I think that they're going to win the Super Bowl? Absolutely fucking not, but still, I guess it's a pretty cool stat, even though it really doesn't mean anything because of the extra game. Finally, Detroit versus Minnesota. I've gotten a lot of crap this year for being wrong about the Vikings, and I've been told by a lot of Vikings fans, oh, you're just a hater, and Sam Darnold's actually really this good, and we're really good, and we're going to do a lot of things. No, you're not, okay? You guys are a fluke. You're a good team, but you're a fluke. You're not going to win shit. No team that relies on Sam Darnold is ever going to win anything important. And you need to remember that. Sam Darnold is the next Case Keenum. I've said this before, and a lot of you tried to gaslight me and tried to get me to take back my position. The Vikings were Fugazi, but I haven't. I've stood my ground. Never, ever trust the Vikings to win big games. Ever. And I've stuck by that, and this is another example of it. I can't wait to see them go one and done in the wild card round.